Let me make sure I refresh the page on my end to take a look at it here, so that I can see it. Looks like it might be good. Okay, it's coming through again. Yeah, I might have to go and pitch a bitch, just because it's getting kind of annoying to have your internet die out on you. See, supposedly what happened the other night when I was streaming and it went down like multiple times in a row, is they said the configuration on their end was in the wrong order. Don't know what that means, but apparently it was a problem, and so they fixed it, and that brought everything back up for a while. But of course now I'm getting the, I don't know, this is the first time tonight, so we'll have to see if it does it again. But this time it wasn't just a no internet even though all my lights are on. This time all the lights went out, so it actually lost connection to home base. Don't know why. Okay, so what have we here? We have one new power, it looks like, and I will be getting a new one at 24. Arachnid awareness. Your spider sense reveals all nearby enemies. Cool. 940 radius on the map. Next one is 980. I have no idea what 940 means.
Yeah, that's interesting. It doesn't really tell you, does it? It just says 940.
Yeah, don't know. But, you know, 980, you know, is just another 40. And then up from there is 1020. So another 40. So yeah, I don't think I need... Don't need any more than one level, I think.
Yeah, Jean Grey has some more of that too.
Cool, so I can see enemies on the map. I could totally ignore that power if I wanted to, but I don't see why not putting in a 1 point into it.
I can't wait until I get to level up my Jean Grey. I'm excited.
So here's something cool that the firemen guys are doing, right? Because they're trying to figure out how to get this free-to-play model for the game I'm playing right now while I'm watching you stream, the Real Racing 3. They're trying to figure out how to keep people playing at various times throughout the day and blah blah blah. So they just came out with a couple of new liveries for some cars that are for by Mountain Dew for Kickstart, the new drink they're coming out with. It's pretty good. I don't know if you've tried it. And basically, what they have done is they've created an event that says during such and such times, if you play, you get double the experience you would, which helps you level, which is, in leveling in this game, is how you get the money, the coins, which are there to purchase otherwise. So it's kind of interesting how they're now playing the time game as well as some of the other stuff they've already thrown in here, and it's working because they've had a lot of people play it at that time.
I don't know.
And some of the other stuff they're doing is, because all of this is, of course, socially done online, you know, time-synced multiplayer, blah, blah, blah. One of the other things that they're throwing around ideas on their forums are to have some sort of competition where, like, the top performing people, you know, during such a time period with an event, actually either win in-game coins all the way up to real-life stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see where they're going.
I'm going to state that I kind of don't care for things like that. I mean, sure, it's working for them, but I kind of hate events like that usually because 9 times out of 10, events like that are on times that I can never join them.
Yes, well, that's what I was just about to say with this event, is it's on a time I can't join this. So it's really obnoxious to me.
You know, it's great as an incentive thing, but
the incentive should be there for everybody, so they need to come up with more that are at different times than just that one. Oh, I screwed my Zonda up.
Fire beetles. Fire beetles.
Menu.
Oh, blowing up fighter. Oh, jeez. Don't blow up on me, fire beetle. Ow, I said.
Yeah, they blow up.
I said don't blow up. Ow. Oh, my pride.
See, this is when it's awesome to be a ranged character, not just shoot things at it. Go away.
Look, I've got webbies that I can shoot at a distance.
Webbies? That's not very far.
Not that I need it for these guys. I'll use it on the Beatles.
Defeat means nothing.
Okay, it's number 6.
Seven repair warnings.
Awesome. Steam update. The client has gone temporarily as part of Steam's normal update process for game going live. Apologies, it will return. We do not have an ETA for the Steam client returning, but we're sure they'll be up before we're live at 10 a.m. tomorrow Pacific time.
Is that for that specific game, or is that all of Steam services?
No, just Marvel.
Yeah, which doesn't do you much good for the starting pack.
No, they need to reimburse you or something for that. That's kind of BS.
Don't make me do that again.
So it sounds like they're owning up to it. You link that in the. Are you watching his stream or no?
Yeah.
Link it in the stream. I'm gonna take a look at that.
Link Twitter.
Why are bugs shooting lasers at me? I'm not quite comprehending this.
Well, it makes sense, Troy, because bugs, right? They fly. They have to, do the World War II thing and dogfight, so they spit acid at things.
No, they're shooting lasers at me. It's not even acid. They are literally shooting lasers. These are like the Cobra bugs of the game, right? Like, I feel like I'm fighting Cobra.
No one in
I'll link it in Skype.
Okay. Okay. It sounds like they might be owning up to it, which is.
Well, from what it seems to me, it went down. Apparently, it was something Steam always does, and it will be up before we go live tomorrow. That's what I heard. Was Steam did it? It will be up before we go live tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading into it. But if that's the case, like I said, either Steam needs to reimburse you, and Steam's actually pretty good about that. If you say, hey, look, I did this, we have a problem, I couldn't get on, this is my account, Steam has been known to give you, money back in their Steam wallet. We've actually had them do that a couple of times for the, let's see, they did it for Age of Conan, they did it for Star Wars, a couple other, or Star Trek. So, I'd at least push it, try to get your money back, because that's BS. You click obsessively, don't you, Trey? I forgot. I haven't watched one of your videos that does this in a while.
Wait, hold on. I want to save you some pain. You do know that you can bind a key to
Yes,
move to
its defaults is W.
cursor? Okay, well, I didn't mind Z because it's right beside shift because I'm a ranged character.
Yeah,
But
I don't really use it. I'm
that's-
used to clicking.
I know.
Well,
I
see-
just thought how much you click since it's been a while since I've seen a Diablo 3 video.
I'm used to clicking too, but I'm learning that way because it seems like it's better in combat.
What, to click?
No, to press the button, to press Z to move the mouse, where my cursor is.
Yeah, see,
Then
I
to
could-
clicking around everywhere when I'm trying to click on the enemies to hit them, dude.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I did in Diablo 2 with the force move key. I would always, force move and then attack again. Oh my god, I'm getting dizzy. So where are you with this character in the scheme of things?
I am in the Savage Land.
I mean, episode
so
chapter,
seven
because it says chapters.
7 chapter.
This is chapter 6.
Pretty sure it's 7. I'm not even sure. I don't know.
It's like 1 or 2 chapters away from the end.
I'm pretty sure this. Because I'm on 8. I'm like halfway in 8. And I was doing this earlier, before I got on to play Smart Retention. I was doing the stuff you're doing now.
Destroy the humans.
Oh my god, I'm racing this person named Ooh. I'm gonna die.
Okay, I need 2 more.
It is interesting, though, to note that the success of the game I'm playing, and of course, all like the games you're playing now, that looks really cool, by the way, Trey. It just cost me my drag race watching you, but that's pretty cool. Oh no, I still won the drag race. Holy crap. So is that a special there that you were using? Because it looked like you had that bound to a key and timing it.
It's a movement skill. Most characters have something like a flight ability. Spider-Man can quote-unquote fly, except for it's done with the web swing.
Yeah, even if you stick it to midair, I guess it works, right? Because theoretically there's something around there that is swinging.
Well, this is pretty cool. My spider sense will let me know where enemies are, even if they are not teleported in yet. I can see the red dots. Like I'm going to run into 2 of those raptors to teleport in again. Bugs.
Yeah.
That's not your spider sense. It was happening to me earlier.
It's arachnid awareness.
It was happening to me earlier. It's just the thing that happened. It's not that.
No, it's literally my skill because that is the only way that enemies are showing up on my minimap right now.
Well, then Storm has it passively without that, because when you are moving through the world, you have red dots where the enemies are if they're near you. And I was having the thing in this place because them little dinosaur things teleport in on you. Where it would show where it was before.
I'm going to be honest, you probably have an item doing it because, or she does it passively because that's never happened for Spider-Man before.
I don't know. I would almost be interested in buying a respec thing for you to respec and not have that, or just take that ability off.
Or well, I can't because it's passive.
I have no pity.
Or you can watch one of my previous videos and see if any of me show up on the radar.
That does make me wonder how much, because I haven't asked that. How much is it to respec your characters in this?
Respec tokens are
like $1 or $2.
$1.50.
That isn't bad.
Or no, wait, hold on. That's rarity. Nope, $3. $3 for respec.
That's honestly not that bad. Some of the iPad games that I've seen are up to $10 for respec. So
I don't mind it so much because you can find them in the world. I've got 2 of them already.
See, that's nice. They at least give you the item to be able to do it if you really want to do it.
See,
what about bank space on this? Is this still a problem?
It's
the other?
kind of an issue. The only reason it's an issue is because crafting materials don't stack.
Do you think that's something they might do in the future?
I hope so.
No,
They haven't shown any desire to do it, though.
they want people to buy the stash tabs.
But the sad part is having the ultimate pack, I have a whole bunch of stash tabs for all of my characters, and it's still not enough.
Well, yeah, because you can't put crafting stuff in there, right?
Right, exactly, but I can put items, like if I plan to use other items or whatnot. But the thing is, let's face it, having put in that kind of money, I kind of want to not have inventory issues. Oh well.
Yeah, because you paid, what, the $200? So yeah, I would... Yeah.
They gave me extra currency, so I could always buy more stash tabs. That's not a big deal. But I honestly feel that it's kind of sucks for a free-to-player.
Well, one thing that I've been doing, and because I have the 1 tab, and then I have my Jean Grey tab, but obviously I can't put the crafting stuff in it. What I've been doing is just leveling it up as much as possible when I know I'm not going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done fine with it so far.
Well, I was going to mention something along the lines of Trey. You kind of are a hoarder when it comes to inventory stuff. You seem to collect everything.
Well, if he's just collecting the crafting mats, it's gonna fill up fast. It doesn't, even if he keeps nothing else, just crafting mats, it's going to fill up fast. Because that's all I have in my tab. It's crafting. I've kept nothing else.
Yeah, that's all I really have is crafting materials.
I'll tell you what, though, this is looking good enough that I'd be interested in this. I wasn't before seeing the betas earlier on, but with where this is at now, I'm interested. So they've at least done that good of a job at getting me kind of, enticed here. or I should say you are with your stream, and they should give you some money for that kickback, right? Are they going to have any sort of like, because I know some of the other free-to-play games, Star Wars Online has this, where if you get somebody else playing and they end up playing for X amount of time, you kind of sort of get some kickbacks.
Oh no, kind of like high-res and their refer a friend now.
Yeah, like a refer a friend system. Kind of a bummer.
This guy kind of hurts.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're dying pretty quick.
Oh yeah, the little psychic dinosaur guy.
There is no escape from the brood.
So what characters do you have then, Troy? You've got, obviously, this guy.
I've got all of them.
Oh, because you purchased the pack, yeah.
You're making this easy.
I forgot about that. Now, that only gives you the ones they have at launch. That doesn't give you the ones that are going to come out.
It gives me all the ones at launch and all the characters that should have been at launch. So all the ones that do come out, that like
the next four.
The next four, pretty much, will be given to me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, after that, any that they come out with, you're going to have to purchase too.
Or find, yes.
Now, does that give you enough player? I mean, because it gives you all of them. Can you actually start players for all of them, or do you have to like choose how many slots you've got to actively play?
No, you have. You can actively
yeah.
switch between all the characters, and you only get one copy of a character, which is why I was talking about not liking the Bloodstone totem things, because if I wanted to make another Spider-Man and try and reduce his deaths as much as possible, I can't do that because I can only ever have one Spider-Man. And I'll show you here in a moment once I get back to Xavier's Institute to sell. Whenever you get a character, it goes into your roster. It's like having a character selection screen, pretty much.
Come on. You can switch on the fly.
Yeah, you can switch at any time. I could go to one of my level 1 characters right now in the Savage Land. Because your story is not linked to your character, it's linked to your account. So if I hit T, there, I've got, this is all my characters, they're all fully unlocked. I can pick any one of them that I so desire. As a matter of fact...
So I guess here's the question for you. Do you fully intend on playing all of them?
I plan on playing at least a few of them.
I guarantee you will not get more than like 3 to level 60 unless you're playing this game a year from now. Because with other games coming out and stuff, and as hard as it seems like it's going to be to get characters to 60,
that's one of the reasons I wasn't so apt on doing the $200 thing myself personally, because I've done that before on another couple of those that I will no longer play. So.
Well, see, I would actually like to have it because I would go through and all the characters I like 5, 6, 7 of them, and get them all through the story mode. And then when I'm going through in-game contact, I'd like, what would be better now? And just keep swapping out.
Well, it seems to me that level 60 in this game is going to be like getting to level 99 in Diablo 2. Do you really care about doing that? It's going to be more about getting a character to a level that you feel happy with. And,
well, the content's going to keep going up. And then there's level 60 content at 60.
Supposedly.
Well, yes, supposedly, I guess. I guess no one's seen it, but...
Exactly, no one's seen it yet, ergo it doesn't exist.
It doesn't. Okay.
That's like that damn curiosity cube that Molyneux, did.
Okay?
You know, it's like, hey, there's something at the center of the cube. Try and find it.
So here's your stash.
Wait.
Okay. So,
by the way, they pull a dirty trick on you later.
Well, what is default stash here, and what is like if you had to purchase a stash, what would be purchasable for the rest of us who don't have, you know?
All right, let me get through this real quick.
Oh god, I gotta do speed step next.
Health, web sling, energy defense. No. Ooh, 25 damage, huh? Nah, probably not.
Have you been crafting any of your stuff up? Like if you found like a blue that's pretty good, making it a purple to give it more stats.
I could totally do that. Like I might even try it on one of these to get rid of some of these materials that I have.
I mean,
Just
I've done it occasionally. Like when I find a really good blue, like if I was like level 11 and I found it and it said I had to be level 11 to wear it. If it was a really good blue, I would make it a purple because it would last me a little bit longer, and to get rid of some of the crafting mats.
So, all right, stash. What do you get in the stash? Well, you've got the general stash, which is exactly what you see here. It was bigger in closed beta, but there were fewer stash tabs, so I can understand why they might have done that. But it's kind of annoying because things don't stack. Not just crafting materials, but I have 2 retcon devices that aren't stacking.
What? Is the experience boost stacking?
Nope, I have a rarity boost.
Because I have rarity and experience boost in mine that do stack.
Yeah.
I only have 1 recon device.
Yeah,
So
retcon devices, for whatever reason, are not stacking. And I guess I can kind of understand why, because the game doesn't have any coding to separate stacks.
Yeah.
You cannot, like, I've got stacks of health potions or health kits over here. You can't separate them. There is no way to separate. You saw that I moved one over and I combined stacks, but I can't separate them.
You can't separate once you combine. Yeah, that's something they're gonna.
I thought you could by shift or alt clicking or something.
I've tried. Can't do it.
I
tried every combination that I could think of, and I cannot split these stacks.
I swear, I thought I could do it in beta.
That way. I mean, there's going to be enough outcry for yeah. They've got to do something about that. Again, beta though, so open beta, I should say. So yeah, I would imagine that's probably going to get added. I'd be really surprised if it didn't. If you can combine and then can't re-split back out, I can see people bitching about that.
Yeah, and the fact that retcon devices, for example, don't stack kind of sucks. And what does annoy me a little bit is that my Miss Marvel character token won't go into my Miss Marvel character stats, my character stash.
What's a Miss Marvel character token? Is that hold on, let me read that.
Well, if I didn't own Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah.
I could right-click on this token and unlock her.
Ah!
Since I own Miss Marvel, I can use this token to improve the power of her ultimate ability.
How often do character stuff like that drop?
I've only found one so far.
Okay.
So it's kind of rare so far. I don't know if enemy bosses will have a higher chance of dropping them. It seemed like they did before in closed beta. But the problem is, since Miss Marvel is not level 30, I can't right-click on this token. Because she has to be level 30 to unlock the ultimate ability. So I can't use it until she hits 30.
So that could be a downside to having your pack early with the inventory system they have right now.
Well, if they could make it so this goes into a character stash, because here's what you get. You've got a general stash. This is what everyone's going to get. Because I have the ultimate pack and have so many costumes, I have hero-specific tabs. You basically put something in this pack that belongs to that hero. So if I've got a piece of gear that's locked to my character, I can put that into my character-specific stash. So basically everything I have on Spider-Man right now I can put over here. As you can see, I've got 2 tokens over here, or 2 medals that I put over here because they're locked to Spider-Man.
Gotcha. I see that.
Beyond that, there are 2 additional general tabs you can buy for $5.50. And there are 3 crafting tabs that you can buy for $300. So basically you're looking at $5.50 for a general tab and $3 for a crafting tab. I'm half tempted.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio on these guys.
So I'm half tempted to buy one of these just because of how much space this crafting material is taking. The things I really want to see change here is the ability to split up stacks, and by extension the ability to stack things like retcon devices. The ability to stack these crafting materials, because look at this. Each one of these crafting materials,
that's crazy.
It's one spot. And you need, when you craft, sometimes you'll need like 2 of any one of these items. 2 or 3 or whatever it is you're making.
I guess somebody's AFK.
That's crazy. That's a lot of inventory space chewed up for no reason.
Now, the thing is you can take any 3 of these and combine it to the next higher tier. So these fundamentals, I can turn them into an essential. Reason why I haven't yet is because I don't have the level on my crafter to split them back up again if I need them. So right now I can only split up to the level 3 items. So this level 4 is the highest I can go without until I can split it. So I'm trying to avoid doing that just in case I need it for a recipe. So yeah, that's kind of annoying when it comes to stash space. So the good news is, yeah, you're only paying for characters, you're only paying for costumes, and you're only paying for stash space. The bad news is, yeah, you might need the stash space. I wouldn't even recommend a character stash tab, really, unless you plan on carrying alternate sets of gear for whatever reason.
I may come to fruition later.
I would recommend either a crafting or a general, and the crafting is half expensive as a general, so...
Yeah. The only reason I have the Jean Grey tabs, I got it for free because of all the Jean Grey pack.
Right.
Which I think I have like one thing in it. I think I have the costume I got with it, which is ugly.
So, I've upgraded my costume. I guess I could try and upgrade my gear. I can upgrade rare blue.
If you don't like any of them stats, you can redo them.
Now, when you upgrade your costume, does it have any visual effect, or is it just...
Well, the upgrades I've done are simply statistics. As you can see, I have a grade 1 that gives me armor or the penetration, and a grade 2 that gives me critical strike.
Because it doesn't actually affect the look at all. That's kind of...
No, but there are visual effects that you can put on, and here you need a artifact that has a visual effect and the costume. Now, artifacts are these things up here. These don't have a visual effect, but some of them do. Like the bloodstone totems that we were talking about typically have a rune effect. So you can get the artifact, but in order to get the visual effect, you have to put the artifact into the crafter to actually forge the visual effect into the costume. And as you can see, it's cheap. It's only 100 credits, so it's nothing. But you have to, so that gives you the option, if you get a artifact with a visual effect, you don't have to have the visual effect.
You can either remove it or...
So you can just put it
on
right
something
on.
else if you want the visual effect, yeah.
Now, by extension of that, I would really like to see them have ways of claiming your costumes again once you've purchased them on the online store. Because if I were to put a visual effect on a costume, I'd like to be able to remove it if I find I don't like it. Yes. And as of right now, I don't think there is a way. And unfortunately, there is no way to reclaim costumes. Like, if I were to accidentally get rid of my symbiote suit Spider-Man here, it's gone. If I were to accidentally sell it, it's gone. Yeah.
Well, don't sell it then.
Kind of sucks. They just
just don't sell it.
Yeah.
God.
Well, see, there's already been someone on the forums I've seen that already said it's like, you know, he let his son play the game because the game was mainly for his son, right? And all of a sudden he found out that the costumes were gone. And it's like, well, we paid for those. Is there any way we can get them back?
Because, yeah, he did pay for them if he did the advanced pack. Yeah, I mean, that's something they're going to have to address.
You know, I think they're, you know, the way they did the costumes as an item, I think is is kind of haphazard. I understand why they did it, because you can add effects to them. But they, again, I think what they need is some kind of maybe an in-game mail system that you can just say, hey, I'd like to get the costumes that I paid for back again. You know, because it would kind of suck to lose an item that you just paid money on. If I just paid, like, at least heroes you can't lose, but if I paid for, you know, for whatever costume, like let's see if I can see the prices.
Like a reclaim button, or
like, look, these costumes cost like $13 here for Black Panther. If I go down to let's do Deadpool because he's popular. His enhanced costume is $20. What if I accidentally sold that costume or something happened to it?
Yeah, they need like a restore purchases or something like that, you know.
By the way, you have 10,000 gold coins. I think you could spare 300 for a crafting tab.
I could. I've been thinking about it. I'm half wanting to save them for any future heroes, but at the same time, I kind of want to get stash spaces.
You have 10,000!
Look, I'm stingy.
Right.
Look, you know how Scrooge McDuck got his fortune, that he could swim inside of it? It's finding a dime.
See, that's not true, because the real people who have made millions have to spend money to make it.
As little as possible. They have to spend as little as
Not true.
possible. Little
That's
as possible. Look, Scrooge
Not
McDuck, bins of gold, swimming in it. Okay? Don't question my logic. DuckTales would not lie to me.
I just don't see how 300 would
DuckTales was made by Disney. They would absolutely lie to you.
No, no, they wouldn't.
Bambi, hello.
Look,
The damn deer should have been dead, okay?
look. No,
Yes.
don't shoot Bambi.
Yeah, no. I shoot lots of Bambis every year, and I'm not sad about it.
Okay, let's try this. I'm going to take this blue item, and I'm going to use one of these, and let's upgrade it.
Most of mine have been pretty decent. That I've upgraded. I've only upgraded a few.
I just want to see. I've got plenty of the enhanced genome, so I have no problem upgrading it. So, Sticky Strike, Corrosive Web Fluid, Regenerate 4 health, and it's got armor penetration, so that's not too bad. I've got a bunch of armor penetration now, apparently. So let's see. This, which is my defensive websuit, I'm liking this. This is nice and defensive. Oh, wait. It's a level 8? Oh, wow. So I can use this one then.
Waiting won't make this any easier.
So I need a rank 1 of these. Wow, that's crazy. Do it. I didn't realize that armor I'm wearing is only a level 8.
Yeah.
I wish I could turn a green into a blue. That would be kind of nice.
You can only upgrade the blues to purples?
Yep.
Yep.
Interesting.
Or you can make a purple a random purple.
It doesn't work that way. In a way. I tried. This transform the epic here.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll show you in a moment. What did I get? I got health, web spray at 6, sleeping assault at 2. What's sleeping assault? Oh, it's that one. Okay. Yeah, this one didn't get very good mods, honestly. But if you're talking about this, the transform epic one, I tried it, I put it in, and I got the exact same epic out. What this is for, what transform epic item is for, is to take an epic item from one character and give it to another. So if I found an epic body armor for Colossus, I switch over to Spider-Man, I could make it a epic armor piece for Spider-Man.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't understand it at first because I threw it in. I did it on the stream. I threw it together. I'm like, well, let's try it out, and I got the exact same item out. I'm like, what is the point of that? Is it broken? And then someone told me it's like, that's what it's for. It's like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of cool.
That's cool.
So
Tools could be more useful on that, though. That tells you what it's for instead of.
Well, it does in a way, but the wording is kind of off.
Yeah, the verbiage is abstract.
Because it says transform a level 12 or less epic into a new epic item usable by your current hero and binds it to him. That wording of a new epic item is what threw it off.
Yeah. I thought you just turned purples into random purples.
I thought so too, but when
I haven't tried it, yeah.
But yeah, it apparently didn't work out that way, and unfortunately, I just don't have any other crafting stuff to upgrade anything else. I can't turn this green into a blue. I don't have any other blues to modify. Unfortunately, I would like to redo these purples because I don't think they had great mods, but oh well.
Why does every racing game in the world start charging you obscene amounts of money for stupid things like camber alignment? $14,000. I don't think I would ever purchase a camber alignment for my real M3 for $14,000.
I don't even know what that is, so I would not purchase it at all.
A camber alignment is where they take your tires and they literally tilt them towards the pavement or away from the pavement. Think like, in towards the top or out towards the
Think you'll still generate
If you hold your hand up vertically, straight out from you, right? Like a knife, and that's your tire on the road. If you tilt it out or in, there you go. That's camber. Why you would pay $14,000 for somebody to adjust your camber is like, I'd rather take a 9mm gun and shoot myself in the head because it's just as useful at that point. So...
Hey, don't underestimate a bullet to the head. In a zombie apocalypse, that's very important.
But why do games do that? I mean, I'm trying to figure out why they scale things up to be so absurdly ridiculous that it's like not even close to real life anymore. I mean,
Because-
they got the prices of the vehicles accurate, okay? The actual prices of the vehicles in this game are accurate. The prices of the upgrades, not even close.
Because when you do, they got to make it equal. So when you're doing races and stuff, you're earning money. They don't want to give you like, here's a quarter. Yeah, you won the race. Here's a quarter. Work your way up to buy this. It's just inflated for it. It's like, oh, I got $100,000 because I won. This is $400,000.
You get the X number of money like you normally would from a racing game that you would use to purchase vehicles. Okay, that's fine. Vehicle upgrades. Maybe have a totally different cash system awarded for that so it's more realistic, like respect points. You have to win so many races before you can get that upgraded part.
Yo, and you need to earn some respect before you can get your tires pitched in at the right angle, yo. What I'm saying.
Look at it. I mean, those guys in the latest, not Need for Speed, in the latest, what the hell was the movie that just came out? Number 6. The Fast and Furious 6. That crew had to, race a lot to get that kind of respect before the government would come to them and say, we need your help, So
That's totally realistic, by the way.
Exactly.
I know, me not having won any races, the government does not want my assistance anymore.
What do you drive? What do you drive? What vehicle do you drive there, bud?
What do I drive? I drive a car that hasn't won races, and so therefore I don't have the respect I need.
What is the vehicle you drive?
Spaceship.
What?
He doesn't drive.
Spaceship.
I drive.
Spaceship.
Yes.
What is it? Like a station wagon, a truck?
What? What? You want me to tell you like I drive a beat up old Pinto or something? What?
Yeah. What do you
Please
drive?
tell me it's a station wagon. Tell me it's a station wagon.
It's a
I don't care if it's
Winnebago.
not. It's not.
It's a Winnebago.
It's a Winnebago? I don't believe it. Because if you had enough money to buy a Winnebago, because they're actually really expensive right now, you'd be rich. So that's not true.
Dude,
so,
it's the YouTube money. I'm telling you, I make bank here.
Wait, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Believe that one. Where's your viewers? I'm going to go thumbs down every...
Look, the cynical man in the top hat does not have anything on me.
So what do you drive? I mean, if it's anything like a Ford Mondeo, you can't be, that's negative respect points right there. You can't race one of those. It's just not okay. But, I'm serious. Why do they go to the extremes on... I mean, because this game doesn't really do stuff like that. Some of the other games I've seen...
Oh god, T-Rex.
Every racing game I've ever played is like, I want $500,000 for track quality race slicks. Yeah, I don't think that's a big risk.
Do they then proceed to put their pinky in their mouth and cackle?
Probably.
$1 billion.
I can't figure it out because they did such a good job with the actual price of the vehicles, and then they say camber alignment's 14 grand. It's like,
welcome to the ridiculous pricing of the free-to-play model, where no one has any idea how to actually price anything properly.
Well, I guess that's what I'm getting at. I mean, why would you do something like that? It doesn't make sense to me. But
I don't know. Why would you add a system in a game where you can literally pay to have an advantage over another player and destroy them in a PvP type environment?
This game doesn't do that. That's one of the things I
understand that, but I'm saying let's talk about free-to-play models. Why would you even allow something like that to happen? Why would you alienate the people that play your game that can't pay?
I half wonder, Trey, if it's one of those things, well, if you're not good enough to pay for our game, you don't deserve to play. I wonder if that's what some of those people think. Seriously. Some of the devs. Some of the
How dare you?
You're not worth it because you don't have enough money. You're a lowly peasant.
Yeah, I totally see these guys sitting in their office twirling their handlebar mustaches. It's like, how dare they pay our game? We'll teach them.
Yeah, basically. Except I wasn't thinking about the handlebar mustaches.
It's like totally. I'm just thinking of Snidely Whiplash right now in my head, sitting there twirling it.
Shit. Updated. Okay, this one again. Upgraded sport calibers. This one makes sense. $11,800. Yes, that is the real price of high-end upgrade brakes for my car, my M3. But tires, camber alignment for 14 grand, okay. Upgraded sport gearbox is around 13,000. Yeah, that's actually pretty close. But then the next upgrade is $86,000. That's more than the price of the car. What the? I mean, seriously, it was $76,000 to buy this car, even in the game, and in real life, they're right around 80 grand.
Dude, it sounds like you're.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like you're doing home renovation.
It's like, I don't get it sometimes.
I think I'm going to add a $50,000 kitchenette to my house in order to get $20,000 worth of revenue on the house. It makes perfect sense.
Why didn't I do this in?
I don't. Okay, I'm gonna purchase my $14,100 camber alignment. Jesus Christ. Because it gives me a little bit more traction. Oh, God.
It's alright.
Why do I put myself through these free-to-play games? I tell you. I have to say, though, overall, from all of the iPad, iOS free-to-play games I've played, which is a considerable amount now, probably over 40 titles, this one, by EA, of all people, actually it's not really by EA, it's by Firemint, who EA now owns, has to be the best balanced one I've ever come across. It's not overly expensive. It's enough that, you know, I have participated a few times because of it. It's like this, you know. They have the pay for the vanity thing that's there. That's an interesting map overlay. I actually quite like that. Can you adjust the, on that in the options, can you adjust how transparent that is?
I don't know, but I can uppercut a T-Rex in the face.
What was that move you did earlier with those aliens where they all just like flew up at the same time, landed, and they were dead? Was that the uppercut?
Yep, that's my uppercut.
That was funny when I watched it. Like, that was just comical. Wow, that wire looks pretty good there.
Now, there's really not a lot of options. Yeah. Well, that's new. Hey, look, language.
Ooh.
I
just could not see a... Could you see a French-speaking Wolverine?
That would be awesome.
How would you say bub in French?
You know, that's a good question.
Le bub.
Le bub.
I'm still upset that I can't rebound my mouse 4 and 5. Seriously,
Yeah,
hold on. Did that
can't
just say
push
plus
back.
3 swords? Holy shit, it says plus 3 swords. That is hilarious.
Plus 3 swords. What is that? Exuberant swords. Plus 3 swords.
It's plus 3 swords. It's a joke off of Dungeons and Dragons. Deadpool's weapon has... Deadpool, he's self-aware, alright? He knows he's in the game. So therefore, his weapon is a plus 3 sword.
I don't get it.
I found
If you were to play, like in Neverwinter, you get an item, it's a plus 3. If you play D&D, you get a sword, like broadsword plus 1.
Yeah.
So in this case, Deadpool has an exuberant plus 3 sword. The plus 3 is not the...
Oh! It's not a stat!
It's not a stat. It's literally the name of his sword because he knows he's in a video game.
Okay, I get it. That's pretty good, I get
I
it.
had to explain the joke. Now I feel dirty.
Hey, you know, I'm a Marvel noob. Leave me alone.
Well, at least you're playing the game.
Hey,
Come to Steam, download it through Steam. It's gonna be better through Steam, yeah.
Snook, you could own an iPad and be playing racing games along with me while watching his stream too.
Oh yay, racing games. Don't you want to get in on that, Snook?
Well, fine. I'll just go play something that's basically the iOS equivalent of Diablo 3. How about that? Called Dungeon Hunter 4, which is the most overpriced, buggy free-to-play game I have ever played.
Nice.
Oh, overpriced free-to-play game.
Your starting weapons, and it's a pay-to. It's actually not really free-to-play. It is more of a pay-to-win model, to be honest. Well, I'll go play that then.
Is it one of those you can't progress past a certain point unless you pay?
No, you still can, but it requires an obscene amount of grinding. Fortunately, I have found a bug, because this is a very buggy game, so I have unlimited cash on the game. So, what the fuck do I care? I just buy the most expensive item when it shows up. And don't have to grind. It's actually kind of nice. But yeah, they've got this thing called Wheel of Fate that you can use to spin to get like free stuff, right? The gold lottery costs 350 gems. The gem conversion in this, to give you an idea, let me go to that.
Here it is, Russ. Take a look.
That has to become a pet. I'm sorry. They have to make that a pet.
Come on, Rocket Rex. It's the Rocket Rex Mark 7.
I am playing this game because of that. No other reason. I only did this game because of that. That is fucking hysterical. To give you an idea, the way the gem conversion is it's not a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1. 550 gems is $5. 200 gems is $2, and it scales. So
yeah. Well, this game technically, just so you know, this game does too. It's not a true 100-to-1 ratio. At low levels it is, but as you go up, you get like a 10, then a 15% increase. So
okay, here's the difference though. It will cost you $5 to spin one time that Wheel of Fate that gives you a semi-decent whatever. And I mean semi-decent, they're not that great. Okay, $5. Alright, let me load my level 5 character. Okay, got my level 5 character loaded. Starting off, go to inventory, go to store, and I've never seen a game advertise buy this now so much as this game has. It's unbelievable. Alright, to buy inventory spots, it gets progressively more expensive. I am at 40 inventory spots, and to get 40 inventory spots, I had to pay, and they don't transfer character to character, I had to pay about $10 to get there. Fortunately, like I said, because I complained a lot, I did the open beta. For the beta for this, they gave me a lot of gems for free, so you know I can't complain too much.
I almost feel like Neverwinter there, because you have to pay like 60. How much did you have to pay for like the largest bag in Neverwinter? Snook, do you remember?
$10.
$10?
$10 for the largest bag, and that's per character as well.
Yeah, so really, really cheesy. Here's the thing though, I can buy what they show as the top of the line item up to level, and they don't say up to level 10, but it is only up to level 10 for $22. Okay. Once I hit level 7, the next tier that it doesn't tell you about shows up. And again, the most expensive item is now $44. It progressively gets worse. I am currently on my level 40 character. There is no level cap in this game. And I just am looking right now at the gear, and to purchase a full set of their purchased gear is, let me total this real quick, shop, 2,400 gems, 2,400 gems, 6,000 gems, 2,400 gems. Alright, how much? Alright, so currently $99. And from what I've been told, there is only 100 gear levels, and this is gear level 40. It is the most expensively priced free-to-play game I have seen in my life. Not only that, it advertises so much to the point when you're on a load screen, they have a button to buy now. I kid you not.
So like what, buy loot now, or buy the game itself now, or what?
Not like to buy an item, like having trouble while you're on a load screen, buy this item. And you can click from the load screen to go to the store and buy it. One click. It's unbelievable.
Oh, well, at least they got the store working right.
No, well, they don't, because, yeah, there's more bugs with that. But their crafting system stops at level 47. It doesn't go all the way to 100. So they're trying to get you to buy the gear. Because, let's face it, the in-game gear you buy is 3 steps down. They've got 4 levels of gear in this game when you at your appropriate level. They've got the gear you buy for cash. They've got a slightly better version of the gear you buy for cash. All of these can be upgraded, by the way. Then they've got the items you could craft up to level 47 that are a little bit better. And then you've got 2 separate levels of paid gear. So the best gear in the game you can't get unless you buy it. Period.
Yeah, see,
$99 at level 40.
I think they you should always have a way of getting that stuff in game, even if it takes a bit of time. Although I have to admit, sometimes the time requirements for some of these is ridiculous. Like I was looking at the way to finish. Like I'm gonna say, I still enjoy Neverwinter, but after playing it for a while, I've come to really hate some of their pricing schemes. I honestly, there's a lot of dislike I have for some of the pricing things they've done in Neverwinter. But for example, for crafting, in order to get high quality crafting, you have to purchase crafting kits. And the crafting kits have random items. You can't even go and say, I'm a blacksmith, right? Or I'm a platesmith. I want to go and buy anvils and mallets. I have to buy a pack that has a random item, and it may give me something for a tailor instead. So I'd have to maybe end up going and trading it. Now granted, I could go into the auction house, probably find something that would work for me, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of why I haven't played as much lately as well, even though I still like the game.
I hear you, because this is they've got a, to be totally honest with you, this is, and of course because of the pay-to-win system, they have a player versus player version in this, and that's actually how, gem generation, diamond generation. You cannot generate diamonds in this game whatsoever unless you use your once-in-a-day free bronze Wheel of Fortune spinny thing that once a week will give you a chance to win 10 gems. Other than that, the only way to get gems in this game is to PvP. And because of the paid gear, it is so unbalanced. And then now they've also apparently got problems with hackers.
You know, the last time
hacking the game. Of course, you don't really need to hack the game. Like I said, I just found a bug that's making it nice. And it ruins the game. It really, they've got this could be the Diablo 3 for iPad mobile devices so easily, and then they get the bean counters in there who are like, we want our money, and they just ruin it. It's unbelievable. Because they've got a really good mechanic here for the entire thing. So, yeah, I'll have to get some in-game video of this and actually show you what it looks like, Trick, because it is impressive to play. It's very much like Diablo 3 in some ways. On iPad. It's unbelievable. Well, yeah, I know you want to go outside, Carlin, but no, not going outside right now. So wolf.
Oh man, starting to run out of space thanks to crafting materials.
You've only got 10,000 credits to buy a crafting tab or two.
Yeah, but I'm trying to, show what the poor man has to go through.
Granted, you are, and granted, I can see where you're going to very quickly run out of space.
I'm going to go ahead and do an essential.
Either that, or you spend an awful lot of time coming back to your thing here to upgrade, clear out, and craft all the time. How easy is it if you're in the middle of somewhere to exit back?
Easy, as long as you're out of combat for a couple seconds, you body slide. It just,
especially town portal.
Yeah, it's like a 5-second channel, and then you're done.
At least that's easy.
Yeah, it's pretty much like Diablo.
I must say though, there are certain. Does the interface change depending upon what character you play? Like
no, it's all the same. There's no real loading between characters. It's just here's your other character. Let's jump them out.
Interesting. I actually kind of like the interface in this, the coloring and the elements. It really does remind. They did a good job of nailing it down to what I would expect a Marvel hero thing interface to look like. Almost reminds me a little bit of City Heroes in some ways.
I like it because there's a lot of orange.
What is it with you and orange? Why? You're a redhead. You're not supposed to like orange.
I like orange. So, Kage, I have a question for you. They're going to stop selling, I think it was actually today, but they're selling the packs, the $20, $60, and $200 packs, right? To buy 4 characters in their little group that they had was $60. How much do you think they're going to go up to buy 4 Pacific characters?
Ooh, you mean like if they don't? Are they going to introduce completely new packs or?
I'm not sure.
Because
I don't know if they're completely brand new, or if they're going to be completely brand new for characters or characters the ones they had before.
So the starter packs in general are going away. I thought those were going to stay.
No.
Oh, wow.
Far as I know, all the founder packs are going away. Then they're going to have new ones, but they're going to be more expensive. Because if you bought these founder packs, they're supposed to be cheaper. You're supposed to be getting a good deal on it.
I could see them doing that to kind of entice you to becoming a founder. I could understand that. But they better have some sort of pack there, because if I decide, hey, I like this game, I'd like to, pick up something that gives me a few more characters, there better be a function there for me to do that besides buying individual characters.
See, I was about to go look on their website and see what the founder packs were. They're already off their website. Wow. I cannot look at.
So, real quick, greetings, Real Sync, for welcome to the stream. We're just talking about free-to-play games in general, and of course a little bit about Marvel. Well, a lot about Marvel, but
hilarious that you're fighting reptiles.
Having a lot of discussion about the general free-to-play model and how it affects various games.
Yeah, so how much do you think it would go if it was different or the same?
Well, I would hope that for some of the starter characters that they would have it somewhat similar. I mean, because some characters are just $20 anyway. What did the starter ones give you, the basic level, the $20 ones?
The $20 one gave you 2 XP boost.
Oh, that's hilarious.
2 rarity boosts, my 1 character, 1 extra costume, my 1 slot, and $10 worth of in-game credit. Pretty sure.
Well, they would probably take out. They would definitely take out the in-game credit. What they might do is, oh, there's that clone thing you were talking about. Oh, that Colossus went down like a sack of potatoes.
Oh wow! Yeah, you just hit him with a hit. 2 hits, maybe.
You're right, yeah, that item needs to be buffed. Kind of like mine, seriously, watch these things die. Seriously, that's ridiculous. They died, like, instantaneously.
Now, I'm playing Storm, and so it can give you Colossus, Wolverine, or Cyclops, and you have 1% chance for all of them. And one time, I got all 3 to proc. And it was the cool thing, because it's like I shit out X-Men. Because they hit me, and then they 3 appeared, and they all attacked at once. It was awesome. Like Cyclops jumped up in the air, and Wolverine rushed towards them, and Cyclops came flipping out, shooting a laser. It's like, oh, that looks awesome, and then they instant died.
The way you describe that is
well, they appeared behind me.
Dude, that was awesome. Dude, but that's what I'm saying is that kind of item should be made to be much cooler, because that sounds like a really cool moment where, hey, you've got the X-Men team fighting alongside you, and then they just die. It's like, how anticlimactic does that? I mean, this is
especially since it's a 1% chance.
Well, yeah, it's a 1% chance and they die instantly. This thing here, these robots, I can summon them every 30 seconds and they last only for 30 seconds. I don't want them to be overpowered because I can basically have them up all the time. But I want them to at least take a little damage or be able to do a little damage.
Yeah.
Man, I tell ya. So, you saw the Humble Bundle video. Yeah, so let me go ahead and bring that up, actually, because I'd like to mention that as part of the stream. The Humble Bundle is up. HumbleBundle.com.
This was a good one. I really liked this Humble Bundle. This was a good one.
I don't know any of the games, but they are games. Many of them are games I have heard about and was kind of interested in. Thomas Was Alone is definitely that's one of the games of the bundle that I was thinking about getting before because I saw videos on it, and it's one of those things where it's a minimalist game. I mean, it's just you're a block. But
yeah.
the damn game is all about narrative, though.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, this Humble Bundle I would actually recommend. I don't mean to plug an item here, but I think they've got a really good combination on this one. I actually ended up purchasing. I put about $50 into this Humble Bundle because I liked it. So why not? I had the money to burn. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, you're gonna like the narrative on it if you haven't tried it. Watch some videos though, because
Oh.
it's not for everybody. But,
Sabretooth. Are there other heroes in the area? Oh, it looks like one. This could be interesting.
How does that work? Are you in like a public area, group area, solo area?
It's a public area. Only sub-dungeons are instanced.
Okay.
And the game has an auto party feature, thankfully, to help with that. Because
Yeah,
some of the sub
basically-
instances you don't want to go into without a party.
Yeah, basically think of it like when you play Diablo 3, like Act 1, you're like stretching through, like you just left the town and you're like going towards the cemetery. That would be a public zone. There'd just be people everywhere. You're just a public zone fighting things. And then when you went into like one of the church dungeons, or you went into like the boss fight with Leoric, like that would be a separate instance where it would be like puppy.
Gotcha.
That's basically what happens here. It's just a world, you run around, you fight, stuff happens, everyone's there. Then when you go into like one of these mini doors, you go into a door, then it's like a 5-man instance. Anyways, to answer your question, there used to be $60 packs, are now $85.
Really? So they're the same pack, but they just cost more.
That's a pretty big price.
You get 4 heroes, 8 costumes, and 10 fortune cards. So
Whoa, you
no,
get 10
like,
fortune cards?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But no in-game currency, no.
Okay, so what are the fortune cards? Holy crap.
Okay, the fortune cards are random. They can contain random characters. They can contain retcon devices. Can they contain costumes?
Costumes, yeah.
Or once Sabretooth is done, we can take a look at these. Because they changed it. It used to only be like 4 things. Now it does like 6 or 7 things. But it can also provide you with a boost. Like I got double experience for half an hour off the one I had. And that's a big deal because I got really high levels very early in the game from that. I was kind of hoping when I used it that it would give me an item for it instead of just do it, because I wasn't quite ready for the experience boost, but I made it work. Oh! Sweet, got Sabretooth.
I
There
personally
is.
don't think it's that great of a deal for $85.
Yeah, for $85, yeah. Well, it depends. Let me see. If you get 2 characters, 4 costumes, right?
No, you get 4 characters.
4 characters.
And 8 costumes.
8 costumes. Well, I suppose it is a discount compared to what you would get them individually.
Well, I'm assuming the 8 costumes is because supposedly with Jean Grey, when I bought my $20 pack, I got 2 costumes with it. It's the one that you start with and then one more.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming the 8 is one of each of their starting and then one alternate.
Yeah, I think you're right, because that's I hate to say it, that's a bit misleading.
Yeah, well, one of my issues with the pack that you just talked about, there is, if I'm expecting to pay $60 for a game, let's say a AAA title, well, let's use Neverwinter, Guild War 2, for example. When I purchased that game, I was able to play quite a few of the characters, right? They were unlocked, if you will. You had to buy more character slots, blah blah blah, but I could basically play quite a bit of the game. It sounds like you're only getting 4 characters. I'd expect a little more for $80, considering how many characters are there.
22 right now.
Yeah, see, I'd expect a little more. I'd expect maybe 6 or 8 for that $80.
Yeah, because that's what was doing before.
So, yeah,
20
22.
bucks. $20 got you 1 character. It was like that Pacific Characters pack. Then you bought like the hero pack or whatever, and you got like 4. And like they did different things. They did like an X-Man one, an Avenger one, and stuff. And there was 4 characters. And then you have the $200 pack. But there's 3 of them on Steam. Actually, 2 of them were $85, and one's $80.
All right, let me see what I got here off of Sabretooth here. Oh wow, all his metal does is health regeneration, but it's quite a bit of health regeneration. 645 health regeneration per minute.
That's quite a lot.
Oh, in case you're wondering, I'm looking at the farms and stuff. Patch notes are up for tomorrow.
Oh, they're finally up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ro, he's saying he really likes ARPGs, but this game doesn't appeal to him for some reason, and I can kind of understand that. Honestly, when this game first came out, when the closed beta was out, aside from the fact that closed beta was testing only at very specific times, I really didn't have much of a desire to play. Like, I only really got a chance to play the game once every other week. And those rare times that I could, I really wasn't compelled to do it. Because there was something missing. And so I would admit in closed beta it wasn't that great, but I would say that it's evolved quite a bit since then, and it's looking a lot better than it was. I originally would definitely said that this was not one of those games that would appeal to hardcore action RPG players, and I think it's to a point where even hardcore action RPG players might like it, but it's not something that I think that they, absolutely will. It'd be a must-have for them. I think that if they make some changes to the systems, I can't really tell you, what off the top of my head. I know there's got to be some changes there, just because it's not. It's kind of a gut feeling. I really couldn't say what's missing right now, especially since I haven't gotten to the end. But it's.
Give me an example of what, in your mind, our person, I can't pronounce his name, Rado, Sank, or whatever. What in your mind is a hardcore action RPG? Let me ask you that. What do we have? What are you comparing this to by watching? Say like Diablo 3. I don't consider Diablo 3 to be hardcore. So, more of what I would consider hardcore to be in my mind. I feel like Path of Exile. For me.
I think it also depends on what kind of experience you're looking for.
Yes.
Path of Exile is a very different experience from Diablo.
Which is why I'm asking the question. What in your mind are hardcore, or is hardcore? Because I'm kind of curious about that.
I see what they did, by the way. I'm confused by the $5 thing. Like, there's $85, $85, and $80, the packs. Basically, it's one each for the $20 character. One gets you Iron Man, one gets you Deadpool, one gets you Spider-Man. And then other characters.
See, there you go. I'm on a load screen for this thing. Special offer. Having trouble? ? This item could help you out. Heroic Scepter. Doesn't tell you how much it is. It's on a load screen. I'm going to touch to continue.
So
buy now. 2,400 gems. That is $27. Fucking A. It's unbelievable. Alright. On a load screen. It just surprises me.
So
Titan Quest.
Well,
Okay.
Titan Quest. Now that's definitely that was a good one. My only real problem with Titan Quest when I played it at the time. Now Titan Quest came out at a pretty decent time for itself, though I don't think it gained in the popularity it could have had, because it came out after this time that Diablo 2 had been out for a while and was kind of dying out. I don't want to say it was dead, but it didn't have the following that it kind of used to have. It came out at a pretty good spot for that. It came around before, I think, Torchlight 1.
Yeah, it did. I think it filled the void, basically.
And it was a good void filler. I didn't play it until after all that, but I still kind of enjoyed it. But my only problem with Titan Quest was the sheer amount of passive points that you had to pump into your skill tree in order to get to different skills. So you would level up, and you would put a majority of your points into the passive pool, which was basically like allocating attribute points. And it didn't feel that compelling to me. The skills and the idea that you could build your own character any way you wanted to was fantastic, and I loved that about that game. But yeah, in order to get the builds that you wanted in Titan Quest, you had to grind a lot to get to high levels in order to get high enough in the passive tree to do it.
I think that's part of the hardcore genres, though, really. To become that uber character, to really unleash the character, you have to play it a lot. Something I've seen games in general, even not on your non-hardcore questing ones, have moved away from. I remember like, fuck, look, go back to Nintendo days, okay? Zelda, the original Zelda. You had to do a lot of farming and grinding to get up there and get powerful. You know.
Zelda's kind of a bad choice.
6 hours. So, people have done it. It's I think games have actually, in that respect, when it comes to the hardcore genres, I think the hardcore gamers are actually a dying breed. I
think the problem is that what it meant to be a gamer in the past and what it means to be a gamer now are a little bit different. Because games back in the day were intended to be hard because games were not coming out as quickly. Games had to last a long time, and you kind of needed to justify the value. So you typically had games that were really hard. It's because the games themselves were actually really short. I mean, if you think about it, look at Contra. Contra was actually, if you could play Contra without dying, or if you were good enough to play it, or even if you had the 30-man code, Contra itself is kind of a short game. But what made Contra last so long for a lot of people was that it was hard. So you would die over and over and over again, and you would start over, and you liked it.
Yeah.
But what a lot of developers are finding out nowadays is another thing that what gave longevity to games was grinding, excessive grind. So you would basically have to spend a lot of time to get to a point where you could progress. Like, I mean, let's just take, since I know this one fairly well, World of Warcraft as an example. In order to get in the high-end rating, you had to grind instances, heroic instances, to get the gear you need, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bad example because, as an MMO, that's kind of what MMOs are all about. But normal games would do that, where you would have to play a lot in order to get to a certain point. Diablo 3 started off like that, where you had to grind in order to get through Inferno, because Inferno was so hard, you couldn't beat it with the level of gear you had, typically, if you didn't use the auction house.
Yeah.
So what developers are starting to realize is that you don't have to make a game tedious in order to make it fun or hard. You can make a game hard through other ways other than tedium. And unfortunately what happens is you get this so-called hardcore crowd from the old generation of gamers that thinks that tedium equals difficulty equals a good game. And whenever you dare challenge that, you say, hey, the game doesn't have to be tedious to be enjoyable, they're like, no, man, you have to actually put time and investment into this and blah-de-blah. That shows that you're a true gamer. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not quite true. Now, it might have been okay back in my younger days when I had a lot more free time, but gamers are getting older.
Well, that brings me to where I was going to take the conversation next, is, okay, look at the game I'm playing right now while you're playing this. It is on a mobile device. It is short, quick, and it's a free-to-play that goes after an obscene amount of money very quickly, or tries to, which in this case has pissed a lot of people off. But look at where your gaming companies, EA, those guys, where they're saying the market is shifting to the free-to-play model, because gamers are, one, getting older, don't have the time, and what's interesting is the younger generation does not like what we consider hardcore games. They are playing much, much, much less of the console games / PC games, than we are, by a long shot. I mean, I could tell you, my cousins, for example, they're just now hitting their 20s. They have hardly even played the Xbox or PlayStation at all, which is not uncommon for that age group. They have, however, played an absolute ton of iPod, mobile phone type games. They played an absolute ton of those, way more than I ever have. And it's interesting to see the way the market is shifting in that respect, because I think we're seeing this limbo. Okay, the hardcore gamers are wanting still their hardcore games. We can't make as much money off of them. I mean, look at the sheer number of games out now for the platforms compared to what we had 10 years ago with, the I mean, I could just walk into EA Games and they've got a wall of games for me to choose from, because these newer graphics engines and newer game consoles, that you can turn out a AAA title, well, let's face it, pretty quick compared to what it used to take. You know, they're talking about doing an Assassin's Creed now every 6 months. That's a AAA title every 6 months for $60. That's pretty impressive when you think about the quality of those games compared to where they were 10 years ago. Now, that being said, they have been saying over the last, what was it? It was Nintendo. Nintendo is losing money big time. And that's why they started to go more towards the mobile devices and the handhelds again. And they were the first ones to do it before Sony and all those other guys got into it. And that's what saved them, was going mobile. Because they realized the younger generations, parents are on the move, blah, 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 and, you know, they're not playing the consoles as much. So it's really interesting to see this shift, as well as the shift timing-wise to the free-to-play market. Because wasn't free-to-play really a big thing more in Europe? Not Europe, but like overseas, basically?
I don't really know where it started, but I can tell you that there has been, for long before we started doing this, Korean-based MMOs have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, and their models have always been pay to win, I've noticed, for the most part. That's what it seems like, which I find interesting. So I'm wondering if, you know, all this balancing act between, you know, mobile, social gaming, which is the new big buzzword, I guess, you know, see where it goes with the free-to-play stuff. I'm tired of seeing good games ruined by free-to-play models here in the U.S. anyway, that don't seem to work or are too aggressive.
Well, this new free-to-play sector, right, is definitely cool because it helps people with low budgets to play games, and I think that's really enticing right now, especially with the economy in a place that it's in right.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people are looking for that game experience without having to pay the big money on it. Now here's the problem. Economy issues aside, this free-to-play model, this thing that they've got going for them, is only going to last for so long. And I think, one person obviously that I listen to a lot that I think has really good views on it, and I think I'm more informed, is of course Total Biscuit. I listen to him a lot because I really think that he puts a lot of time into his arguments, and he doesn't like to say anything without investing resources into it and looking into the subject. You know, it's very rare that he will say something that's not on an even keel. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was talking about this very recently on one of his Content Patch episodes, and he mentions that this is very much a bubble. This is the free-to-play market is going to last for so long, and it's going to pop. You know, it's kind of like the .com era over again. You're going to have, it's going to boom, and it's going to keep booming. It's going to do great, and then it's going to finally just hit that point where it's got to burst. Because after you start putting in so many free-to-play games, what is it that makes a free-to-play game? What is it that gives it a profit? It's people playing the game over long periods of time, and the free-to-play market is there to entice people to play it because they don't have to pay money, right? So if you have too many free-to-play games, eventually you're going to hit this point where there's too many games to play that you're not going to be able to hold the audience like you used to. So basically what will happen is they'll play your free-to-play game, they're like, oh, well, now I need to pay money to really make much more progress. I'll go to this next one. And so they're going to stop paying money, and the free-to-play market will burst.
See, I kind of disagree with you there, because the Korean guys have been doing it for a while now. It hasn't burst over there. Granted, they're more of a pay-to-win than a free-to-play.
But
what we call it, here in the U.S. anyway. But here's the thing. Free-to-play has apparently been around for a while. European markets, somewhat mobile markets, even elsewhere for a while. But they've been saying certain things will burst because of bubbles, because, there's so many of them, it's so saturated, people won't know which to choose. Yes and no. And this is where I think we're going to see the evolution of free-to-play go, is content and progression of content versus steady income. For example, the game that I'm playing now, it costs them X amount of money to make. if they put it out there and just leave it out there forever and never touch it, they will eventually get to the point where it's doing nothing but making them 100% pure profit, and they wouldn't care. People aren't going to stop playing it because people, if they've done right, they're always going to have a little bit of a following. So if their cost in creating it is reasonable, and they don't, spend billions of dollars making it like our government would, then, they're going to get their money back eventually. The amount of time it takes to get that money back, that's the question. And that's a bean count question, okay? How much, for investors. Now, when it comes to having a free-to-play game that is constantly evolving like this, where they add new people, add new, what you're playing, add new people, add new stuff, they're going to have to look at how much they're charging people versus how much income they're making, how much it costs to make it, versus how quickly they want to generate the content to keep people interested. That, I think, is a bubble that could burst.
I have some
because
X-Men
right now,
clones here.
there's two different types of free-to-play. You're almost dying there. Hurry up, die.
I'm fighting clones of Colossus and Wolverine here. It's rather interesting.
Yeah.
And this is the guy that gives you the medal that does what I was saying. He's using the medal that I have because you get the medal from me.
If it's a medal, if it's a medal you get from a fight like this, I mean, it should be stronger. They need to buff it.
Yeah. But you've got this bubble right now, free to play, with the extremes of like the game I'm currently playing, where they're probably not going to do much more content creation, and they're charging obscene amounts of money. Now in this case, they've really pissed off the community with the amount they're charging, and there's so much outcry on this, and that their next game is probably not going to do that. But then you've got games like the EA one that's very well balanced. They plan on doing long term. It's made them oodles of money, more than EA has now said that Real Racing 3 on the mobile platform has made them more money than any single AAA title they have ever made combined. Okay, that's
right now it's not. Right now it's not too much of a big deal. I'm kind of thinking like way down the line. Now
I'm thinking like 20, 30 years down the line.
Now, the other issue is, as you mentioned, it's not bursting in like Korea and whatnot, but you have to also consider that the Korean space for games is a very radically different space compared to our side. They've made a national sport out of StarCraft, for crying out loud.
I know, and that's also where I was going with it. Is how can the companies that are trying to do this here now? They don't really have a basis, so we're definitely in experimental mode because all they've got to go off of is the Korean market, and they just think different. I mean, straight up, their whole society thinks differently on stuff than we do, even when it comes to apparently copyrights. So, fundamentally,
that's more. I think that's more the Chinese that are on that one. I mean,
really.
Well, I say that. Well, I don't.
Hyundai basically stole all of Mitsubishi's plans, basically.
Okay. I can see that, but I also know that there are a ridiculous amount of stolen IP games in China. I mean, hell, they've got a game over there called 300 Heroes. It's got Wally in it. It has Wally in it. Not a knockoff of Wally. It is literally Wally.
China doesn't understand intellectual property at all, and they never will, because that's part of their culture. And that's the thing, is you've got these cultural differences in gaming. So it's going to make a difference, and we don't have anything to base off of right now. So we've got the extremes of people doing free-to-play that is more pay-to-win Korean style, and you've got the sort of in-between, and then you've got the ones that are going to fail because they're not getting enough money back from the cost of development. So you've got the gamut right now, but it's really interesting to see so many games like this, or, well, like Neverwinter, like you were just talking about, where it's a good game.
You gotta be kidding
me.
There's
one or two little things that was a carryover.
You've got to be kidding me.
He was hitting you for how much? Do you have a combat log?
No, you don't, and you don't have damage numbers. I didn't have that low health, I thought. That's why I wasn't worried, but he just kind of blasted through me. I really think that this is meant to be fought with more than one person. It's just that no one's in the area, and I've already cleared the dungeon, so I'm not going to be getting an auto party.
It could be the case. It's interesting what Mad Prophet Gamer. Wow, my screen.
By the way, I had a slight delay on my thing. You had about 850 life when he blasted you and killed you.
Oh wow. Okay.
850 when it killed me? That's a huge hit.
I mean, you were a little bit under half. Because he hit you right before you were like 1,000. Like right at 1,000. Then he hit you, took like 200, and then he shot you with that beam and killed you.
I should put you out.
Well, I can tell you this with the free play, from what we've experienced so far. One of the companies I work for, we put out a little test game on the iOS platform, free to play, and it, again, we literally, to buy some of the power-ups and some of the things to speed things up, was 50 cents in real money value. We have no plans, and we stated this. This was a development program. This is for testing only, internal, to see if this is something the company wanted to do long term. It costs us about $5,000 to develop, and labor and all that other fun stuff. Within 7 days, it made its money back. Within 3 weeks, it's more than quadrupled the money, and it keeps progressively getting more and more. So there is going to be a fundamental shift, I think, for EA now that they've had a taste of it, and your other, other major AAA title game companies, now that they've had a taste of it through some of their mobile apps and some of the stuff that's been really successful, I think we're going to see a big shift. How well that happens and how much they piss off the communities of the hardcore gamers, which is realistically where they make their money, is yet to be seen. So, and that's the thing is, I'm playing a mobile platform on a mobile device with a limited finite amount of resources and gameplay time meant to be played. This, what you're playing, is a completely different animal, so how do you price it? And back to what you were saying on the packs, I would expect for $80 to get more than 4 characters.
All right, sorry.
Because I'm used to AAA games that give me, 6 to 8 characters for that same price.
Okay, I was just trying to catch up on the chat there because I noticed I had missed a little bit of...
combo that's going on there. I like that map.
By the way, welcome back, Mad Prophet. Nice to see you. I know you've been following lately.
Alright, you just went in a circle.
I know, I was looking at the fog of war here. Yeah, and some of the map went away when I alt-tabbed again, so... Let's see, does he have full health? God, I hope not. Good.
It would suck if he did.
So, yeah, it's kind of Diablo 2 style where you die and you can blitz the boss again.
Which is good, except for, like you said, you've got that certain items with the penalties for death there.
Yeah, you've got the bloodstone things, which give, the penalties on death. Not only that, but as you saw, you kind of have to run back. Here it's not so bad, but the one with Magneto was a pretty large, it had a lot of obstacles for you to go through. And
I don't mind really long run backs, though. It's kind of nice to sometimes have a reprieve after a nasty battle.
I think it'd be nice to give me a town portal that I could put up in case, but nah, well.
Well,
Come on.
Yeah, true.
It's a game made by David Brevik. He could totally do it.
Did we ever find out who is funding this, backing this?
Okay, here we go. 2% chance to summon Colossus clone, 1% chance to summon a Wolverine clone, and 1% chance to summon Cyclops. Wow.
You got one better than me. Modern 1%, 1%, 1%. You got 2%.
I win. I want to use. The sad part is I kind of want to use it, but after you told me how weak they are, and I've seen it, I saw one of them die. I don't want to use it now.
Well, you use it just to try it out.
Oh man. Well. So, I think the point I'd like to make here on regarding this whole free-to-play thing is I like the free-to-play model. Again, I like being able to have a game that I can play, without having to put any money into, and if I like it, I can then decide to put money in later. The thing I don't like about the free-to-play model is most of them don't offer you a way to just purchase the game. So, like, look back at Tribes Ascend, okay, by High Res Studios. Really good game, right? And the beautiful thing about that one is if you paid money into it, you would get VIP status, which would give you extra experience so you could unlock stuff faster. Didn't matter what you paid into it. You could have put $2 on an item, right? And you got that bonus. So that was really good. And the beautiful thing is you kind of had an end game to achieve. But Tribes Ascend was also at its core a PvP game, power versus, player versus player, and you weren't really paying for power, you were paying for side grades, a different way to play. They made sure that all the weapons were balanced. So that worked. But as they started adding more weapons, it started taking longer and longer to get some stuff, and they realized, you know what, it's going to be, if someone tries to start and play new now, they would have a lot of grinding to do. So they offered the Game of the Year edition, which is, you know, you pay a certain amount of money and you lock absolutely everything in the game. And they did the same thing with Smite just recently, you know, at the same time that they did the Tribes one. If you buy Smite now while it's in beta, you get all the gods and all future gods. You have basically bought the game. The only thing you would ever have to pay for after that are skins, which just are cosmetic.
Oh, $17 for me to respec my character in this iOS game.
See, and I was complaining about $6 in Neverwinter.
Yeah, like I said, it's unbelievably free to play, overpriced. I've never seen anything like this.
But look at it. Well, but here's a good example. Let's look at Neverwinter. I put $60 into that game, and granted, I got some decent value out of that. I got a mount for what?
I said sucker.
Yeah. Well, I like the game. I enjoy the game.
Yeah,
I think it's a great game.
I just play it more.
But I got some decent stuff out of it. I got a mount for all my characters when they hit level 20, and it's not just a level 1 mount. It's a full 110% movement speed. But the thing... I could even deal with some of the other stuff that they have pricing methods for, but the things I don't agree with are paying for respec, because in an MMO setting, I like to experiment. I love to experiment. I want to constantly be picking out different things, trying them out, different specs, especially when they add in additional specs. Like right now, every class only has one skill tree. So when more come out, I'm pretty sure they will give you a free respec token when more come out, but I would like to be able to go back and forth or try them. Or what if you have a build for PvP and a build for PvE?
Yeah,
you know?
I thought too.
So you're getting dangerously close to the whole pay for power thing there, just because someone could have a PvP advantage just because they have their spec set out and you didn't, and you'd have to pay to correct that. Now, technically, the good thing is you could spend the in-game money, the Astral Diamonds, to buy Zen, which is the real money currency, but the cost is fairly prohibitive right now and would take a very long time. Now, even at its cheapest, it would probably take about a week in order to afford a respec. And I don't quite like that. You know, not only that, but there are other things you have to use your diamonds for. If you want to speed up your crafting, if you want to add any kind of cosmetics. And the thing that definitely bugs me now that I've gotten into crafting and I've done my crafting tutorials is that in order to create high quality items, you must purchase a crafting booster pack. And the booster packs, I mentioned this earlier, the booster packs are random. And you may not get one for the profession you're leveling, and then you'd have to trade it. Unfortunately, there's a booster pack thing where if you pray 5 days in a row, you can get a resource pack, but all it gives you are materials. It doesn't give you any of the assets. I didn't realize that at first, so I thought I would be able to get them that way. I can't. There's only 2 ways to get them. 1 or 3 ways, actually. One is to buy a booster pack with Zen, which, to guarantee that you're getting an asset, you need to pay $16. The other one is like $3 or $5 or something like that, but it's not guaranteed. The second way is to buy keys and unlock the Nightmare lockboxes, so keys are a cheaper option, but you're not guaranteed getting an asset. The third way is, of course, the auction house to get them off of people that are using them. Now, here's the thing that sucks even further. You would get possibly...
Okay, while you're streaming, I'm getting bored watching your inventory.
Oh, watch the inventory. It's a conversation.
It is, but I still like to watch something happen. And I'm playing another game while you're talking and doing that, so geez, these guys must be really bored.
No, they're totally bored. They're listening to my totally boring machinations about video games. Come on.
Here's an interesting thing. I just found out. A buddy just texted me this because apparently he's listening into this. He just told me the Game Loft, which is the maker of the game I'm currently playing and saying is way the fuck overpriced for free-to-play, or pay-to-win, or whatever the hell their model is. They apparently, when making this game, had hired from their financial... They changed out their chief financial officer, and guess what? He came from a Korean company that made a lot of Korean titles. So he said he was really surprised at the outcry, public letter here, that they were really surprised at the outcry of the price increases. So that shows the disparity pretty clearly between the Korean market on what they're willing to pay for a game versus what we are. I mean, that kind of says it right there. Interesting.
Yeah. So if you're a Korean gamer, you're competitive, and if you're competitive, that means you will pay for an edge.
Pay for something, yeah. Which
if there is a chance that you get a 0.1% power boost over someone else, they will pay for it, because that
these
is
are literally, the gear is literally like 2% better. No joke. So you're not kidding. 1%, 2%, literally 2% better.
Now here's a good question that was brought up in here.
Interesting.
Do you think the free-to-play model helps to fight piracy? And Mad Prophet, I think, answered this question quite honestly. Yes. Yes.
No.
Emphatically, yes. You're talking about offering a game for free to people. What's there to pirate? You can't pirate something that's free.
Wrong.
And then
this game has proved that. People have basically stolen, because of hacking, quite literally, have stolen over a couple $1 million from GameLoft.
Right. Now, there is that, and that's why a lot of these games
unbalance the game, because now he is completely ruined for everybody else.
Yes. But it's a little bit harder for something that's always online, which is what these free-to-play games are mostly doing now.
No, it's not. A lot of the Korean ones get hacked all the time. I'm always seeing stuff about that.
Well, I'm not saying it's perfect. It combats it.
Yes.
It helps to combat it. It's like doing the always online thing with Diablo.
Oh, God. Could you imagine a free-to-play Windows 7?
I'm already trying to wrap my mind around a login once-a-day Xbox. Okay?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Might have a cutscene here, so let's cut it off for now. Let's see what happens.
I'm going to talk through it, just because.
Oh.
So,
Did you...
State your name and purpose.
Tell your highness Nathaniel Essex is here bearing gifts. Tell him Mr. Sinister will see him now.
I heard you were dead.
I have complete control over my body at the cellular level, Dr. Doom. I'm not that easy to kill. Take note. And you and I have business to attend to. I will admit I had my doubts, but the plan worked. The Purifiers, darlings that they are, unwittingly gathered the genetic data needed to pinpoint the right target for acquisition. Your enemies may have liberated the original, but we had plenty of time to craft a clone. An exact duplicate. For your needs, Doctor. It's perfect. And best of all, your enemies will never know.
Well done, Mr. Sinister. Well done.
Alright, very good. What was it, Snook?
I was saying I didn't see it.
Oh.
And if you don't let the guy out of the little case, it doesn't play. So I was asking you if you let the guy out of the little case.
I really liked the cut. Are all cutscenes like that in this?
Yes, they're all motion comics, and
That's really cool.
and it is kind of the comment was made about it being low budget. I don't really think it's about it being low budget, and I don't think it's about it not wanting to spend money into 3D CGI. I think it's about they want to maintain a comic book feel. These are all comic book characters, so they want it when they're telling the story to look like the comic. There's only going to be a little bit of motion, not a lot, and it's just going to be kind of like what there's motion comics online, you know, tons of them, and it's kind of the same thing, really, where you see a little bit of motion, you get the voices, you get the plot.
I was about to say, I actually really appreciate that, because to me, playing a game like this, and getting back to what was said earlier about this not being a hardcore action RPG, I wouldn't kind of really expect this to be, because it's Marvel superheroes. I mean, you know, Marvel comic book superheroes. How serious can you take it? But that being said, this seems more like a casual play experience to me after watching play it for a while, with some elements that go pretty deep, but not really that much. So, you know, one of those for, again, somebody who's very much into the comic stuff, and superheroes and just wants to have a fun play experience. I would expect to see this ported pretty easily to even like a console. It has that kind of a feel to it. Well, obviously, it doesn't have the interface for it, but thank God.
Well, if they can port D3 to a console, they could do this.
Exactly. So I kind of half wonder if that's because it is Marvel, and it is So I was getting back to who is funding this thing. Who's the financial backer?
This is all kind of hold on.
With the name like Marvel and the licensing alone to get the Marvel, got to be fairly decent in size.
So the developers, of course, Gazillion and Secret Identity. It doesn't really say much about publisher. I'm guessing that's part of Gazillion.
I thought it was Marvel that was doing it.
I don't think, judging from some of the things they said on their forums, I don't think they're directly associated with Marvel. I think Marvel's kind of got a hands-off approach with how they're doing it, other than to make sure everything's designed the way it should be.
Which surprises me, considering what they've done, what Marvel has specifically done in the past. I mean, even look what they've done with the requirements for somebody to make a movie made by Marvel. It's pretty substantial. So I'm kind of surprised that they aren't more hands-on with this, if that's the case.
Well, they've got this, and then they've got, Infinite Crisis that they're working on too.
Yeah.
I think they're basically letting the studios take
hammer
care of
it.
that, because
Giving them a
Disney, Marvel, Disney, whatever, they've got their own studios now.
Disney. I want a game called Hunter's Revenge where I get to go shoot Panther.
Really?
Yes, Duck Hunt where I get to go shoot Donald Duck. Duck Hunt 5. I'm not a big fan of Disney. Put it that way. I had to grow up with it.
Oh god, I'm fighting a whole bunch of golems.
We are superior!
I will say that the animations are definitely much more fluid from when I saw them last.
You filthy X-Men! Kill them, sir!
You need a game that combines like Duke Nukem, Diablo, Half-Life, has all of those guys. They need to do that. Somebody does. Can you imagine, Frodo versus Duke Nukem?
No, I can't actually. No, and I refuse.
That would be an awesome game. I'd play that.
When I was a kid, when I was more into like fighting games, like 10 or 11, I wanted a fighting game that was all the fighting games together. Like, I wanted Tekken people versus Street Fighter versus Sonic the Hedgehog versus everybody. Just everybody versus
Sonic
everybody.
versus Duke Nukem. Sonic would totally win. I'm sorry, I just got that.
I always wanted a fighting game versus everyone versus everyone.
Well, they've been working on it. I mean, you've got the Marvel versus Capcoms now. You've got Tekken versus Street Fighter now.
Yeah, that's
I want everyone versus everyone.
Good luck with that. You know how long it probably took them to get the Final Cross or whatever, the new game that's coming out for the 3DS. It's God, I can't remember the name now, but it's basically Capcom versus Sega versus Namco.
Do you play this game because Mr.
Do I play this game because Mr. Brevik is involved? No, I play it because it's an action RPG. David Brevik, let me put it this way. I have a love-hate relationship with Diablo 2. A lot of people fallen over Diablo 2 like it's the greatest thing ever, and you know what? For its time, it certainly was. But it can be evolved and it can be changed. In fact, one of my primary concerns when finding out about David Brevik being at the helm of this whole thing was, is he going to go back to the Diablo 2 roots? And that could be good or bad depending upon how far we get into it. Like things like hit rating, which I hated with a passion in Diablo 2.
Oh, come on.
It's
No, like that. get it up just slightly. Yeah, you love that.
Yeah, right. But you know, there were things about Diablo 2 that were good as well. So you know, it was one of those things like I wanted to see how it turned out. You know,
I'm so glad Light Radius has gone away from most games. Oh my god.
Some people like that. Now, I personally, I don't feel one way or the other about it, to be honest with you, because, you know, it was kind of atmospheric, but at the same time, it was kind of annoying. So
Well, you know, back in the day when you had limited graphics capabilities, you know, I could see it, but with something like today, you know, I mean, really? I was going to ask you, I'm seeing some areas, and I'm not sure if this is from your upload speed or maybe the Twitch here, but it seems to like chunk or pause in a couple areas. Right there, like right there. Are you actually seeing that tear on yours, or is that just an upload speed? Or it's paying
it could be the upload because it doesn't really chunk, but it will certainly, the frame rates will certainly, will certainly drop in certain areas. Of course, I could always turn the settings down, I suppose.
The gazer beam, look at that.
Oh. Guess I'm just getting ready for it.
Word.
Dreams get to play. God.
I'm hearing some pent-up hostility there. You really should contact both of them and see if you can get something worked out in the way of credit, because that's not okay.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are still waiting to see what kind of compensation they mentioned regarding the outages that they had before. Yeah. It's kind of funny because even though I purchased the $200 pack, I wasn't too upset about the day's worth. You know, the 1 day off of, well, turned out to be 2 days worth of early access loss. I didn't really care too much because that's not really what I paid for the $200 pack for.
No, yeah, you want characters. So.
You know, if you're paying $200 just to get into a game early, I got news for you, man. That's that's kind of.
You're not a Korean. What's wrong with you?
Sorry,
You should want to pay lots of money just to, you know.
Dude, if I was Korean, I'd be playing StarCraft right now because they're doing that whole WCS thing.
Look, that's the whole thing about free-to-play games, is you pay the $200 to get in the game early, so by the time it's released to everyone else, you're already done with it and moved on to the next free-to-play game. And you're going to pay $200 to play early, and then you're going to be done with it before it actually comes out, and then you're going to move.
So the problem with that, Snook, is you're always going to play a buggy game. Is that really what you want in life?
Every game that we play,
dude. So what you're saying
like,
is
every game we play is buggy because we play every game as an open beta.
It's true.
Yeah, you know, I will agree with you, Snook. It is getting kind of old in that respect. I am getting tired of the betas too.
They're like we're lazy, so there's gonna be problems.
Non-stop open beta, but that's weird though. This game doesn't claim to be an open beta. It's released. And nowhere have I seen that it is listed in open beta, so it's a buggy release, which I guess is nowhere near as...
It's getting back to normal. Oh my god. I guess I shouldn't tell you this. Windows 9, because they're already on 9 now, it's official bug table, right, that they're working on. 4,070 something.
Yeah, why am I not surprised? It's still going to be better than Windows 8.
You mean Windows Vista 2? The Millennium Edition 3?
No, I mean Windows Tablet Edition. Alright, so what do I think of Minecraft? What do I think of Minecraft? Snook, what do I think of Minecraft?
It's awesome. He refuses to play it because he's lame and doesn't like awesome things.
Okay, Minecraft is an awesome game idea, and I love the fact that you can be super creative. I love the fact that someone created a processor in Minecraft, like a 3D representation of a processor using like the oils and the fire, and it could do simple calculations and shit.
You-
They basically created a processor inside a 3D virtual
You
environment.
do realize somebody has also created Minecraft within inside of Minecraft.
I don't even want to think about that. So yeah, I mean, it's a great game idea. I personally haven't gotten into it because it's one of those I have this thing about open sandbox games that if I'm given too many options, I kind of can't decide what to do. And so consequently, games like Oblivion, Skyrim, I really haven't played. I've played a little bit of
That's
Oblivion,
just such
Skyrim,
a cop-out. I'm sorry.
but it's just like I don't know. Once I get too many options in front of me, I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that what happens is I end up playing more directed experiences.
What ruins it for me is I want pretty graphics. That's it.
You're a graphics man? Seriously?
Not well, that's not totally true, but see, it does. It doesn't have a storyline. So if it doesn't have a storyline, it's got to have graphics.
Okay, I can see that. If it's not going to have one thing, it's got to have the pretty, right?
Yes.
That I can understand.
I'm all about fun gameplay.
I'm mostly a gameplay man, but I will admit that certain games can be off-putting if their graphics are bad. Like, if they at least do well enough with the graphics that you're given, then that's fine. And then there's art, right? Like, look at Neverwinter. The character models are kind of ugly. Some
I'm
of them,
fine with it.
not all of them. But
Neverwinter's combat system, it could have been stick figures drawn by a 3-year-old, and I still would have played it.
And yeah,
Combat
well,
was
that's exactly my point. Is Neverwinter's combat was what got me into it, not the graphics. And the thing about it though is that the graphics or the models or whatnot, I don't even really care that much that those are bad because the art itself, when you look at the world,
And that's what you're looking at more than your character. Yeah.
yeah, the world is actually pretty nice looking. If you look at the towns, the caves, those are fine. So that's interesting. Have I gotten into Path of Exile? Yes.
I want to answer this. I want to answer this. Yes, he has, but there's too many options, so he stopped playing.
Kind of.
The biggest thing that you always said was, I don't know where to go with my character build. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go.
For me, what it was with Path of Exile was the fact that you could make a completely fucked up character and they don't give you an option to respec it easily.
I think Path of Exile could benefit from being able to buy respec, but doesn't need it.
If it had buy respec, I would be better with it. I'd say, okay, I don't have a worthless fucking character. I'll pay my way out of it. But I'm fine with that.
I like Path of Exile, and it's not even really so much that there's too many options. I guess what it is, well, maybe it is, because it's one of those things where, like you said, you can mess up your character. And I'm not exactly great at high-end, like, final planning. I'm more of a play-by-the-seat-of-my-pants experiment kind of guy. That's why I like D3, is because I can constantly respec, try different builds, and see what see what's fun, see what I like to play. And I'm not necessarily a min-maxer. I like to do things that are kind of fun and experimenting. So, there's that. I have kind of a 6-part series right now where I was playing through it. I was doing the same thing with Torchlight. But I have been doing so many things on different games lately that I haven't been able to continue into those lately. Same with Diablo 3. But, I like it, and I think Path of Exile is going to appeal to obviously very different people than what, say, appeal to Diablo 3. Like, that's why there's such a divisive argument between Diablo 3 and Path of Exile. Some people will say that they think that Diablo 3 is horrible. Some people will say they think Path of Exile is horrible, and you hardly ever get a middle ground. And
That's horrible because I'm not making any money off the profits. Where's my cut for playing the game, huh?
right, Snook makes all the money.
Exactly. Where's the good old days where I played one game, Diablo 3, and just made money playing it?
Now you play all sorts of games and make all sorts of money off the auction house in every other game you play. Mister, I'm getting tons of diamonds and Neverwinter and crap. What the hell?
There's no real money in it.
Is there a game that Snook has played where he doesn't luck out and make bank?
I don't think so.
In currency, I don't think there is one.
Even in Minecraft, 10 Ton would send me off to mine because I would have all the electronic diamonds and gold.
I know where.
I would just stumble upon them.
I know where I made a critical lifelong error, Troy. This last Powerball, we should have had Snook buy the tickets.
Absolutely.
What the hell was wrong with us?
Well, I did buy some and I didn't win. So.
What's wrong with you, Snook?
But the thing about Path of Exile that I really like... See, here's the thing. I love Path of Exile on paper, but I don't necessarily like to play it. Because I am kind of bad at the survival thing in Path of Exile. But what I love about Path of Exile is that it really does give you the opportunity to make a kind of character that you want to play. You're not really limited by your class. You can pick the nodes that you want, and you can make something that's fairly unique. And even better yet, you get items, unique items that can completely change your gameplay, which is kind of like what Diablo 2 did a little bit. I don't know if, not quite as drastically, I don't think, but you could get items that would change how you might make a build or something like that. And there's, like, for example, there's one unique in Path of Exile where you can make a completely physical character where you don't use a weapon, you're just fighting with your fists. That's awesome. It gives you the incentive to want to go and create a character, a build around that, and it makes you want to keep playing. It makes you want to try new characters, new experiment, do different things. That's awesome. I think that's great. And so the people that appeal to that, though, might not necessarily appeal to things like in Diablo 3, for example, which is more action-oriented. The combat in Diablo 3 feels better than almost any other action RPG I've played. And so I feel that there's kind of a visceral, very, very satisfying feeling about Diablo 3's combat that a lot of the others can't match. But the complexity of Diablo 3 is admittedly not as deep as something like Path of Exile. So it's one of those things where people keep arguing which game is better. It's like, why can't they just both exist? You know, really, why can't you just like to play the game that you like, and why do we have to argue ad nauseum about...
Because we are human beings. I can answer that. We are human beings. We have to have conflict, otherwise we wouldn't know what the fuck to do with ourselves. Because if we're not shooting each other, yelling at each other, or having differing ideas, we're apparently all of the same caste and we become lemmings. And we apparently don't like that, so we have to fight and struggle. That's just human nature.
See, because I have a problem with a lot of people like that play League of Legends and Dota 2 and stuff, and they look at Smite, they're like, oh, that game's horrible, no, it's dumb, it's horrible, no, done, no, I'm not playing it, no. But it's a completely different game. I've played League of Legends and I've played Smite. They are two completely different games.
And they both suck, in my opinion, so there you go. See?
But that's
well, no
just,
one cares your opinion.
Well, that's just it. It's like when I was putting out Smite videos, I got, at one point, someone actually asked, is why not play League of Legends? I'm like, well, because I'm playing Smite. I mean, yeah. I like Smite. Not only that, but Smite is so different to League and Dota, because it's that third-person action thing, and I can't really say for it's not playing the other two, but in general has been regarded as needing a little bit more of the skill involved for some of the skill shots. Maybe not so much on the strategy side, but it's a faster-paced kind of feeling, and you feel more in control of your character, and I like that. I just like the pace of it. I tried playing a little bit of Dota 2, and I only really played a bot match, and I need to go back and try it again. But something that kind of got me about it was, of course, it being a little bit slower paced. The thing about auto-attacking creep, and so the metagame being not attacking until you could get the last hit, and I kind of understood that, but it was one of those things where I couldn't just not attack. My character would automatically start attacking.
Where are you going? You're just like running across the
I'm trying to find this quest here. I've got this Hunt the Apollo bug, and maybe it's not in this area. Anyway.
Oh,
yeah, you got like the entire
in the right place.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if the question mark for the thing would show up. But,
you're in the right place. It's a random spawn. But you are in the right place.
So if I go back, it's not in the Chasm of Mist?
No, it's in the whatever this place is called. If you go past that waypoint, then you're not gonna be able to get it. It's that way.
It is in the marsh.
Yes.
Oh dear.
If you press L or whatever, and bring up your log, it will say it's in that place specifically.
I got a question for you, since there's a few people on the stream. This is also addressed to the stream, I guess. How important is it to you guys in the future to be able to pick up, say, this game on PC, and pick it up and play it on, say, a mobile device you have, a tablet, a phone, whatever? And then
No
go
one
back
cares.
and forth?
No one cares about mobile devices. And I gotta go.
Be
Peace out.
surprised.
Have fun. No
Hey,
one
Russ,
cares. No one cares, Russ.
You don't
It's over.
care.
No one cares.
It's not showing up on my L mission log, unfortunately.
What? Yes, it is. You're on chapter 7. You need to scroll up and go down to 7. You're on like chapter something.
This is 7.
I have a delay. I have a delay. You're not on chapter 7 on my screen. You're not on the screen.
I was on 7 the entire time. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, it wasn't. You were on pre-log on my
No,
screen.
I wasn't.
7's not even on there. Like I'm looking at it right now.
Because 7 is highlighted and it's scrolled down. You'll see here in a moment when I scroll down.
Can't have that much of a delay because I'm watching the same stream, and it's right there, Snook.
No, there's a delay. Trust me.
Upgrade your fucking internet.
Not my internet. It's this 1050 shit.
Oh, well, then upgrade your user interface, alright? Jeez.
Alright,
It's right
so
there.